So in terms of energy management, let's look at who are the biggest energy consumers in the world. People and things are two of the biggest consumers of energy, and people and things also give you energy. But since the subject is vast and time is finite, let's just look at people and look at the people that consume our energy and how we can actually deal with these people. I call these people energy vampires, right? Have you ever had the experience of being with someone and spending 10 minutes with them and then walking away and going, oh my God, that was exhausting, all right? That's an energy vampire. That's what vampires do. They bite you and they suck the life out of you, right? So, well, let's look at people. There are three types of people, and let's keep this simple, okay? Monk simple. So there is uplifting people, there is neutral people, and then there are non-uplifting people. Okay. Let's define what they are. Uplifting person is someone you spend 10 minutes with, you walk away and you go like, wow, that was an amazing experience. I learned so much and I'm really inspired. Uplifting. Neutral, I spend 10 minutes with them, I walk away and I go, still the same. Not uplifting is I spend 10 minutes with them and then I walk away and I feel what I shared with you just now. Oh my God, that was horrible. That was exhausting. That's not uplifting. So you can say that person is an energy vampire, right? So how do you know if someone's an energy vampire? Well, we need to either judge or evaluate. What's the difference between judging and evaluating? Judging is this. I'm at a party in New York City, at a penthouse, there are 200 people in there. A guy walks in the front door wearing white shoes, a purple suit, cane, wearing a top hat. He's got a big chain with a clock hanging off his chest. I look at him from across the room and I go, he's a pimp drug dealer for sure. That's judging, right? I didn't even get to know him, and I just judged. Evaluation is this. Evaluation is, if I had 50 meetings with John over a period of 2 years, 49 of them I walked away from and I went, oh my God, that was exhausting. It's safe for me to evaluate that John is an energy vampire, right? So for me, I prefer to evaluate than to judge. So once you've evaluated that someone's an energy vampire, what next? Well, there are two types of energy vampires. There are two types of energy vampires. One is a transient energy vampire, and one's an inherent energy vampire. What's a transient energy vampire? Someone who's going through a difficult time. Maybe Simon is really having a hard time because his dad is passing away or suffering the last 2-3 years. So he requires a lot more energy from you. And you give it to him. Why? Because you're a friend, and that's what we do, right? So for me, I have in my energy budget, I have 10% that's dedicated to charity, right? Which I give away freely, right? To people that I need. So 10% of the energy. Sorry, do you want to fix the sound, or are we good? Okay, perfect. There we are. So transient energy vampire is someone who might be going through a hard time for a few years, but once they come out of it, they'll just default back to their uplifting self. Okay? An inherent energy vampire is someone who's been always an energy vampire for decades. This is who they've been their whole life. They haven't changed, and this is who they are. Right? Like my aunt, for example. She's inherently an energy vampire. Right? She's always been this way, so what do I do? How do you deal with an energy vampire? But before we go to how do we deal with an energy vampire, I have a question for you. How many of you have an inherent energy vampire in your life? That's an amazing amount. Most people keep cats and dogs as pets, but they don't keep vampires as pets. Like you have a little pet vampire in your life that sucks energy from you. And the question is why, right? For every joule of energy that they take from you, that's 1 joule less of energy you could have invested into the someone or something that you love, right? And this is the way you need to look at it. It's actually the highest form of selfless service. If you allow someone to take energy away from you and use it for negative purposes, then you're denying the people and things that truly matter in your life, that energy that you could have invested in them. So how do you treat energy vampires? We practice the art of being affectionately detached. It's a phrase that my guru coined, affectionate detachment, but always kind, gentle, sincere, and loving towards them. How does that translate to real life? So just say I've evaluated safely that John is inherently an energy vampire. I'm walking down the street in Fifth Avenue. I see John walking towards me. What do? Do I cross the street? That's not so polite. So John and I meet. What happens when two people meet each other on the street? What do they say? Hi, how's it going, right? How are you? I don't ask how are you. You know why? Because I don't want to know. I'm in the monk business, right? When I ask someone, how are you? They tell me their whole life story and all their problems. I'm a walking confession booth. I had a friend that once said to me, Dandapani, you are an emotional toilet. I said, Michael, that's the best definition anyone's given me. So people flush their problems down you all the time. So if I know someone is inherently an energy vampire and I see them, I don't ask, how are you? Why? Because I don't want to know. So if he says hello, I say hello, good afternoon. He says, how are you, Dandapani? I say, I'm very well, thank you so much for asking. What a cold, windy day in San Francisco. That could be my response. Then I say to him, please excuse me, I have somewhere to go and something really important to do, which I do. My life is finite and I'm very clear where I want to invest my energy, right? So I'm being sincere. And what do people say at the end of a conversation? Was nice meeting you? No, actually it wasn't very nice meeting you. Hope to see you again? Not really. Let's have lunch? No. Why? Why do we say the things we don't mean, and why do we ask the questions that we don't want to hear the answers to? So, be sincere and say, have a lovely day. That's being sincere. To be affectionately detached is not to engage with someone you have considered or evaluated to be an inherent energy vampire. Right? You're kind, you're loving, you're gentle. You never ever want to harm somebody or hurt them, but you're just not engaging with them. Because as soon as you don't engage, you're not allowing your awareness to go there. And if your awareness doesn't go there, what's not flowing there? Your energy. And if your energy is not flowing there, that's not manifesting in your life. Energy is a finite resource, and we really have to be wise in how we direct it in our life to create what we want. Right? So, what are one of the ways to protect yourselves from energy vampires? You place the burden of responsibility on them. What does that mean? For example, for me, people come up to me all the time and ask me for advice or insights, and I'm happy to share with them. But whenever I give someone some advice or insight, I always make sure I give them a task at the end of it. So I might say to them, here's my advice. I want you to go away. I want you to make your bed every single day for the next month. Then 3 months later, when they call me up and said, Dandapani, I really enjoyed my conversation with you. Can we meet up again? I'd love to pick your brain about something. What's my first question to them? Have you made your bed? And the answer almost 99% of the time is no. Well, I started to, and then something came up and I've been meaning to get back to it. And I go, well, finish what I've given you. And when you're done with that, come back and see me, because what I'm going to give you next is dependent on part one being completed. So I'm more than happy to meet with you, but please finish your task first. So if you find that you're an expert or a leader in a particular area and that people are always wanting to pick your brain, even if they're a really close friend of yours, give them a task to do. Make them prove to you that they actually are deserving of your finite energy, because for every ounce of energy, every joule of energy you give them, you're denying the people and things that truly matter to you that energy, okay? Reallocate energy between people. Every year, at the end of the year, I make a list of all the people in my life, and I move energy between them. The same way, I treat energy the same way I treat money. If I've got 10 investments and one investment is doing really bad, I take money out of that and I invest it into something else. Same thing with people. I look at my list of people that I engaged in my life, I take a pencil, I go, Andy Locke, you're off the list, right? And I take that energy and I put it into something else. How does that mean? How does that translate to real life? It translates by me spending more time with someone else. So I take the 10% of energy I've been investing in Andy Locke and I move it to Rob Nixon, for example. And I spend more time with him. I set it up in my calendar that every 2 weeks I call him up and ask him how he's doing. Or I meet him for coffee or I have lunch with him. So reallocate energy between people throughout the year. Every year, Look at the people in your life. Ask yourself, who's a transient energy vampire? Who's inherently an energy vampire? If they're inherently an energy vampire, take that energy, reallocate it, and put it back into the people that have been uplifting to you. Because when you look at the people in your life, some people really make a difference to you. So you want to take energy and move it to that. Remember the law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transferred from one thing to another. So you can't create more energy in your life, but you can reallocate energy. So all you're doing is reallocating a finite resource to something else that is deserving of it. Okay? Take all the tools that I've shared with you, apply it one at a time in your life. Take one thing from this talk that really resonated with you and start applying it. If it's concentration, if it's giving someone your undivided attention, then start with that first. The problem with us as humans is that we try to do too much at one time, we get discouraged, and then we stop doing that. There's an old monk saying, a temple made of bricks is built one brick at a time.